We live in a quite interesting time at the moment because since 1996 there was the invention of the internet, which opened a lot of doors to the whole world. And the human changed also in this time period since this moment. And in my opinion, the human changed very fast. The evolution kind of speeded up because of the invention of the internet, because we kind of got no borders anymore in this virtual room, and we get a lot of information, like infinite information. And infinite realities, infinite biographies, infinite possibilities. To me, it's kind of a problem because the eye gets tired because there is just too much, and especially in social media, where we are kind of walking around and surfing around. When I paint in my art and when I work in my art, I very much think about this philosophy. I think that we are all kind of consuming, like, no, not we are all, like artists aren't, but many people in the world are consuming machines. They just consume without thinking anything. So this is actually like consuming information, just to get input. But they don't think, they just get input. So I was kind of doing the same. I was trying to create a figure of myself just to make this time, like while people are surfing and getting information and reading, just to make it more extreme. So I read every morning. I read a lot of news, and like for 5 hours or something, I woke up and I just surfed and took the internet to me. And then I was sleeping in the night, and I mixed up all the information I got. And this is kind of the text. I mean, they're in German. I'm very sorry. But the texts are kind of mixing up all the information I got and building up news stories, like a journalism, like in the newspaper, like very journalistic language. I mean, I don't want to talk a lot about politics, because I think art should not be political, but art should describe the situation, like the roots of some things what are happening. So I'm kind of interested in how this social media stuff is the reason of this movement, because, as I said before, of the paradoxy of choices, we are kind of lost, and we are looking for something noisy, because our eyes are tired, and we are looking for something what is loud and what is kind of strong. Even if it's a mistake or something bad, we wake up when something is loud, and many people just sleep, and this is why I think only 46% went to the election, because they're just tired and they sleep, and this is kind of the same.
Half the country didn't vote.
Yeah. So it's similar with the Brexit in Great Britain, and I'm very scared about the future, and I think we all are a little. So, because I mean, we wanted to talk about painting, but I think painting should have something. It should work with this movements, you know, with this strange movements we are living in.
Yeah, I think the absurdity thing. I mean, I've kind of, I think, growing up, used humor as like kind of a coping mechanism. So.
You said you had
anxiety, a lot of anxiety.
Ah, okay.
So I kind of like ended up masking that with humor, which
Okay.
I feel like I'm still doing.
So okay, so it's kind of a mask you're showing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, have you heard about the term epigenetics? Epigenetic? It's very interesting. It's quite new, like, I don't know, a few, 5-6 years, I don't really know. And it's kind of that the DNA of a human is changing through the experiences you're having in life. And also like from your parents and grandparents, so it's kind of, I was talking to a scientist about it, especially in terms of the Holocaust. So how this experiences of your grandparents go to the next and the further generation, and it's kind of very interesting. I mean, because. For example, like my thoughts are, if you're having a good time in your life, it's kind of also going to your children or to, so it's kind of interesting how it's transfers. Yeah, this whole process is kind of also changing because of our time. Like we live in this time, and this goes to the next generation, and so. In my brain, I'm super scared of Apple and Google because they want us to get more and more machines. And I mean, it's funny right now, but
be machines.
Yeah,
buy them.
yeah. I mean, to be like,
Be one.
and that's how. Maybe it's not our generation, but in 5 or 6 generations, the brain's gonna work different than ours.
But here's the other thing. I want to get your comments on this because. Okay, for Ron Gorchov, who's coming next week, he would look at what you're talking about and what you guys are doing and say, you guys got to get busy. You got to boil it down.
You got to
be
what?
Radical.
Okay, more radical. It's so. I don't like this word.
Right, you should come hang and stay in town.
Everybody wants to be radical.
Right, but see, it's an older model. But for a guy like Ron, it's like, okay, I took all this history of Western art and I give you this. He's been working on a saddle-shaped form for 50 years. 5-0. Boom, saddle shape, bilateral shape, 50 years, check Ron out, he's hardcore. But that's another model for trying to reduce the world into painting. And what we're seeing now and what you're talking about is this multiplicity. How do people make decisions about this? This is an incredible moment, to figure out, what you're gonna do about it, how you're gonna condense experience into form.
I was always a fan of, or I am, of Charlie Chaplin, and he made also parodies, but he kind of also had a message to say through parody, because humor is always a good access to something. And this is kind of the first question, and the first answer, and the second answer is the existentialism that you have to take everything into absurdity to be happy. So I think we kind of live also in a time like this, but it's kind of a post-existentialism, because if you take everything serious, what is going on in this world, you can just commit suicide. You have to take and this is kind of the way I try to translate it in my art.